Hey Mary, I wanted to show you what we looked at. Laurie, Courtney, and I looked through the new courses together, trying to keep them somewhat consistent, going from course to course. So just wanted to show you a couple of things with the course updates. Much easier to prep, so I think you'll appreciate that. There are a lot of changes. There are new recordings and things like that that we'll have to do. Um, but you'll see this, so semester A, drop and bounce lab is still there. There's a couple more lessons that have been added in. When you prep to get the dates right, you're going to want to hide all the your choice lessons when you do the scheduler to assign the dates. So that'll be the only thing you have to do, and they'll fit. Um, we do not have to add in labs or anything like that this time. The only change that we're going to make is in the part 2 test. So with the new course, if you go into 1.01, this is in lesson 1 of every unit. It talks about keeping a science notebook. There is a PowerPoint template that it instructs the students to download. And it's just a very simple PowerPoint and it shows them how to go through and create notes, and basically it's one slide. So Laurie, Courtney, and I thought this is a great tool. Students seem to know how to take notes anyway. So when we went into the part 2 test, it still shows that short answer question that we've replaced in the past. I already deleted one. You'll now see that there are 2 part 2. This is an alternate. I accidentally deleted the first part 2 before I realized I should probably record this and let you know what's going on. So you'll see in your course when you get it a part 2 test. So we're going to end up just going in and deleting both of those and just remove it permanently. So we don't want any of the short answer. Before, Kathy copied in for us the vocabulary matching, and we would put that in there. So now all we're going to do is, actually, we're going to go here and create a new assignment. And so they'll take the multiple choice part 1 test, and this is going to be the part 2 assessment. And actually, I want to look at the wording. I need to make sure that I word it exactly the same. So it'd be 1.18 unit test, Intro to Science, part 2. So that's what we'll be creating here. Let's see. So it's going to be a new assignment. We're basically making a Dropbox. So here we'll just type in that title, 1.18 Unit 1, Intro to Science, Part 2. I'm sure I botched that. I'll have to go back and fix it. Talked about making it out of 20 points instead of just 10 because it is much more work than matching vocabulary words. It'll have the same due date, so I think for the August kiddos it's going to be the 9th. And then it'll have an end date that we'll need to add as well. The instructions, basically, I'm going to type in, here you will submit the PowerPoint files, save it as a PDF is really what we want to recommend that they do. But I'll make sure I type up that words, the verbiage, and get that to you so you can just copy and paste into every part 2 test. Just here you'll submit the PDF of the science notebook you created. Basically, we're going to grade it on completion. There should be 1 slide at least minimum for every content lesson. So for instance, the review would have 1 maybe, but the test would not. So there's 18 lessons in Unit 1, but we don't want a slide for the test or a your choice or anything like that. So there would probably be 15 that we would be grading on. And it should be a matter of opening it, sliding down, seeing that there are 15 slides, 15 content lessons. You can see that the input, the output, and you'll see that when you start looking through how they suggest making the science notebook, that it's there. The questions or guiding questions are on the right and the students' notes are on the left. And so it's just one slide. You're just looking, you're not actually grading anything but completion of those to get the 20 points. And if that changes the point total back down to 10, I'll be sure to let you know as well. So you would do that and then save and close. So I'll go back and type in those directions. But the other thing that always gets a little bit confusing is when we trade out those tests is going into grades. We want to make sure that's associated in the correct way, and we do want to make sure that it's visible and required. And then you go into manage grades. And so these are gone, right? This is what we deleted. And so you want to go through and delete those. Now it has you select those and delete. So we're taking away the part 2. And then whatever we just created is going to be down here, this, and we're going to move it over. So you just go to edit, and you'll put it in the Unit 1 category, and then save it. So now you can see, you'll just go in to reorder, and you can move that right underneath if you need it to be in a certain order, like I really like it to be right after the part 1. So I'll make it number 5 and then save it. And we'll just do that for every unit. Add that Dropbox in and associate it. It'll be under basically an assignment. The other thing that we talked about doing is now that kind of changes the extra credit. You know, before they could submit notes for extra credit. So in the content, some of the labs that we've had in the past are in there, and they're notebook activities. And so you're able to find those notebook activities, and that's where I kind of went through. I'll have to remember exactly where I found this before. Really, you're having to scroll through, and I haven't done it enough yet to know exactly where all of these are. I know for Unit 2, I was looking for that atom lab, you know, the labeling of an atom, because they didn't have to do that again this time. That teacher graded assignment isn't there. The lab is actually very different. That's the graded assignment. So I was kind of trying to figure out maybe what happened to that. And it's in one of the notebook activities along with that one that we've had in the past, the boiling and melting points, and it's in there as a notebook activity. So they can go through and do it, but they don't really have a place to turn it in. And so what I'm going to do is kind of create a list of those, and then I will create another folder like I've done in the past. You'll just go, and this is something that Kathy would be able to copy over, but just do extra credit. And then we'll be creating a Dropbox, and you'll add in the notebook activities there, and you could do one per unit and just associate it with the extra credit that's already in the unit. So I always just tie it to the grade book. When I create it and create a new assignment, I'll go in and associate it with this, and I always change it to like 5 so they're all consistent. And so I just do that, associate it with this every time, because that's there and those points are available. But when I get to that point, I'll make another video and kind of show you that. But that kind of takes the place and does give us some extra credit. They're being led to look through those assignments anyway. They're just not required to submit them. So now if they do complete the atom or the boiling point, they can submit, something for extra credit, and we'll have that created and not really be having to search for other extra credit options. So just wanted to share that with you. If you have questions, of course, just let me know.